Yo, 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 this is your boy Romulus Prime 35, aka Scotty to the T, and we are chilling and marinating like we always do. Yeah, man, we're gonna sit here and talk about this greatest movie of all time that I used to watch so many times, back probably when I was 6, 7 years old. But Slide had pretty much did little twists and turns and make sure everything feel realistic. So with my reaction, I'm going to talk about the Sylvester Stallone, the Rocky 4, the Rocky versus Drago, the Ultimate Director's Cut. I'm going to pretty much put my ups and downs. I'm going to tell you what's the good, what's the bad, what's the negatives, and what's the positives. So on this video, I'm going to pretty much just give you a little spoiler alert. So pretty much if you don't want to listen to the spoiler alert, cut this video off. And I'm going to tell you about what I think of Rocky 4, Rocky versus Drago.
My guy pretty like a girl, and he got 5 stories to tell. I see both sides like Chanel, see on both sides like Chanel.
Alrighty, what could I begin? What could I first begin about this movie? To my opinion, it was great. It was great. Some pictures could be in the movie that could have been in the original cut. Some of them just it was just too awkward. The point what really threw me off the most was when it first came on. It went straight to Rocky 3. I mean, usually how Rockies usually go back to, like, for example, you got Rocky 2 or Rocky 1 or Rocky 2, and it leads back from 1, how the fight, kind of recap a little bit. The way Sly did this one was he pretty much just like he put almost a whole fight of Rocky 3 between him and Clubber Lang. That part was pretty cool. I mean, and it showed everything, how everything went. The only thing, here's another negative part on this one. Because you know how the original cut, they have the U.S. glove with the Soviet Union glove and they collide together. That was out. They didn't put that in there. They just went straight to Rocky 4, Ivan versus Drago. That was it. Pretty much what they did was a lot of the cuts, that's pretty much when you had more time of Rocky and Creed pretty much talking, a lot of what they want to do with the Soviet Union, because I guess it went back from when he was in the pool, throwing the I guess the ball to the dogs that's in the pool. There's a lot of music that they didn't put that commercial, that little, I don't know, some kind of Kirby commercial that he played. They took that commercial out, so that commercial's not even in there. But it went back from, he was, same way, the way he looked at when he was wanting to meet Drago. This guy was, he only won one bout and whatever. He was wanting to try to face Rocky Balboa. So, pretty much the same, the whole plot. Pretty much the only thing about it was you had more scenes with Rocky and Creed pretty much talking together. What they want to do. Do he want to fake this Soviet Union? Because, Rocky pretty much knew, dude, you ain't trained for almost 5 years. You pretty beat up. So he knew what was going on with the plot. The only negative part I didn't really like, this is another negative to me, was they took away that robot that Paulie had. I guess he's some kind of romantic relations with that robot. They took that out. That they definitely took that robot out. So that robot is nowhere in this video. None. He's gone. But you had more conversations between them two. You also had more conversations with Adrian, and Adrian's pretty much going through this thing. She was just telling him that, she had feelings for, the both of y'all, because, nobody knows nothing about this Soviet Union guy that you fading, because plus, she's pretty much the same way it was, that nobody you can't do the things what you wanted. You can't do the things that you can do back in the day. You're getting old, you're getting washed up. It's time to move on. With your life. So it went back to the cut where the part in that show was Rocky was pretty much was just telling about if she's mad at him because she's trying to give him advice with Apollo, and she just pretty much telling what's going on. I think that scene was pretty cool. They pretty much show the part when they show the sparring part between Rocky and Creed, pretty much going together. Same plot that he would just pretty much tell him, you don't know nothing about this dude, you don't know much of him. So pretty much, everything set in motion. They pretty much got everything set up. They went to the press conference. Same old thing. You really didn't hear Drago, because in the original, Drago didn't really talk that much. He talked a little bit. Sometimes he just didn't really say much. But everybody knew, because it went back between Creed's wife and Adrian, because they knew something was going to fall back. They knew something wasn't right, because they knew Drago was pretty much, just by looking at this dude, he's big, he's tall, he's strong, something just wasn't right. Then the part they went back, everything went in motion. Then they finally went to the ring, and they had different other things on it. Another negative part, I watched a couple of videos, and I was watching James Ralph. He was talking about his part of the movie, and he was saying about he didn't know if it was his audio or something was going on. I got that feedback too myself, because it seems like the audio was, it seemed like it was out of sync, because in the James Brown, when he was singing "Living in America," it kind of seemed like he was lip singing. It was kind of like it didn't match the way it was on the first Rocky, the original. Everything was pretty much out of sync. Things you couldn't really hear, because like I said, I have a surround sound downstairs, and usually I try my best to kind of hear different lyrics and stuff like that. But when it got to the ring, I can see why Sly is pretty much want to make this match more realistic and more long distance, because the way in the original they rushed through it. They was rushing, it was just rushing. It was just going through the times. But with this director's cut, he pretty much was, they made the fight more longer, more realistic, more hits, because Creed was pretty much was doing, pretty much Creed doing his thing, doing his little jabbing, and because Drago just not doing anything. So he just pretty much, he was trying to find that opening. Once he got that opening, and that dude was, I guess, whatever he was talking about, and Drago just lit him up. It was just like there was no way, because you see more actions of Rocky, you see more the trainer of Apollo. They show more of him. They show more stuff. You hear more commentary. You didn't hear a lot of music. It wasn't not a lot of music into this. It was just more like, it felt like a real life boxing event. But when it went to the part, pretty much I already knew what was going on, because once Adrian, his wife, knew something wasn't right, and she was wanting to stop this thing, because this thing was getting out of control. But Apollo, he's not gonna, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You just pretty much, we knew what was going to happen from there. But they showed more part when he beat Apollo. Drago finally speaks. The man only spoke like certain things, because the first one he was just like, I would like to face a real champion, and then at the last, he dies. If he dies, he dies. So pretty much he said his whole little line a little bit, and he was just saying, I want everybody to respect me and know my name. And it kind of sounded like retarded, like Drago. So that right there was pretty much was really crazy at the moment on that one. But all in all, everything was pretty much was really, really good in the movie. And then once Drago did that little speech, then it went back to another scene that he, when he went to the press conference, where the people were just saying that Because like I said again, Apollo and Rocky was pretty, they was pretty old, but in their prom, they looked like they were still in the prom. They still, and it looked like they still in top shape. But the conference people that pretty much was just saying, we don't know nothing about this dude. We pretty much seen what happened to this dude because they were just pretty much telling Rocky, one guy, he won one match in the Soviet Union. He killed one guy. So, they were just thinking in their point of view was like, we don't want to go through that as much as we seen with Creed because he actually killed this dude. So, after he went to the press conference and, they just pretty much just tell him, hey, we're not allowed to do this. They pretty much just telling Rocky, hey, you got to follow by the rules as much as we got to follow by the rules. So we just keep it at that. So pretty much it showed the one part that, when Rocky was pretty much was driving, looking at history, we never know where the man was going, where he's going. And they showed a little more about, him and, Adrian was pretty much was just telling him that, what made you to do this. And, he, same way on the original because, I'm a fighter, that's what I do. And, she just told him, you can't win. And, and after that, same old thing, get in the car, you got the beats, you got the music going on same way. Then it shows different clips, between, and Creed was pretty much was training him and, then it just shows flashbacks of, between him and Drago face and stuff like that. Like I say, it's epic back in the day. I love Rocky 4. Then it pretty much went back from that one, but it also, the best one I wish they would have left in the script was Apollo's funeral. Oh my God. I mean, I really wish they would have kept that in the original, but it was rushed. But with this one right here, you had his trainers pretty much. He had a good speech, a long good speech, and Rocky had a good speech. It was very emotional because he couldn't really speak at time because he got really chuckled up. To seeing his best friend just die like that in a match. So, that right there was was a great scene. It was a beautiful scene. I just really wish they would have put that in there as well. But they didn't. So, but watch the director's cut. It's in there. So it went back to him. I kind of backtracked on that a little bit. What he did was he went back to the house and it showed he was talking to his son. I like the way that he pretty much was just telling his son, do yourself, be yourself, kind of just take care of yourself. And, I kind of like that, the way he just, told his son, and his son, he told him, are you scared to face this dude? And, he was just like, yeah, sometimes you get in the ring, you get scared and stuff. The part after they, took the plane, they went to Russia. There's a lot of things they took off to it because Paulie being Paulie, they'll have a couple of jokes on that too. And, they started talking, before they got off the plane. Because that part you didn't see. The original part, they just got off the plane. You look at what Duke was looking at the Union flag. Well, on this one, he didn't. There's no looking at anything. They just got off the plane, just started conversating, just started talking. And then you have the guy that pretty much, one of the Russians was pretty much was telling him, here's the chaperone, whatever, what we're going to do. And then he'll just, they get off the plane and they pretty much just tell him, hey, he'll say, who are these guys, how that goes, wherever he goes, you go. So, and then, and they got the plane, he pretty much, and Duke was telling him like, hey, we're the sparring partner. We're, he needs a sparring to train, he ain't got no sparring. So they never told him anything about having a sparring partner. I was like, well, damn, that's kind of messed up. I mean, it kind of seemed like they wanted Rocky to fail. Like they wanted him to okay, well, that was kind of cold. But they showed a part, when Paulie, he talked a little bit, didn't do much. When he fell in that snow, that was kind of funny, still the same way, but there's a lot of stuff he didn't really say. The other negative part, again, that they took out, how when Paulie he had his headphones and you can hear the Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas music he was playing. They cut that off. You don't even hear it. You see Paulie rocking with the headphones, doing this, just jamming. But in the original, you heard the Alvin and the Chipmunks. You didn't hear that. They took that off. So they showed a part. Duke was still playing chess with the guy. Then he went back to Rocky. You could tell there was a lot of stuff with Sly. I think Sly was just talking, as this is what because in the part when he was hanging up the picture, he had a picture. He hung up his son. He hung up a picture with Drago. Well, with this one, he held a picture of Adrian. Then it went back to where he was hanging up to, and then he went back to Drago. So, and then, that part was cool. When he went back and told him that, this training is going to be hell. I mean, it's not going to be like the way it is. Same thing, when they bump the thing, the intro, the Hearts on Fire, man, I love that music. I love it. Still got the soundtrack. I mean, I'm telling you, Rocky 4 is something that you can work out in. I mean, like I say, when I used to, I think when I was like 16, and I used to listen to that soundtrack, man. And I used to, like walk or jog or something, or go to the gym or something like that. And I still do that. I would bump that, man. That'd keep the blood flowing. But then after they showed that part, they showed the training. They made the training a little bit more longer of everything on that. Was pretty cool. Again, I'm backtracking again. They went back to the press conference, pretty much between Rocky and Rocky. They were just pretty much just saying what they was gonna do. Drago spoke a little bit because you heard the announcers pretty much saying, "Well, can Drago speak for himself?" Spoke a little bit. He didn't speak too much. Just spoke a little bit. And Rocky was just pretty much was telling him, "Hey, we're facing in Christmas and the Soviet Union." And so that trainer, Paulie's Paulie, he gonna pretty much piss this dude off. So you know how that goes. But the training was good. They made the training a little bit more longer. They put more stuff into the training onto that plot, and I mean I like that, man. Just back and forth. They doing their thing. They doing different things. But they did more training stuff that we didn't see. Rocky hitting the bag. We didn't see that. They put that in there because he was hitting the bag. They didn't show that part in the original. Then you got Drago doing different things. They didn't show that in the original. So they showed certain different things of the plot. So basically when they did that, the same thing. It went straight to the ring. Then they showed the Soviet Union pretty much was just looking at Rocky, making sure he ain't, make sure he ain't doing that what he's supposed to be doing, because they checking, make sure you ain't cheating, you ain't hitting nothing in the gloves or nothing metal, knock this dude out or anything. So, they looking on stuff like that. And then, Paulie pretty much saying his thing, if, because I make mistakes sometimes, and I always want to be I always want to be like you. I always kind of like that. But then when it got into the ring, Rocky just pretty much a lot of people, the crowd booing him, kind of same way, because you're in a different country, so you're different, you're just gonna get booed. But after that, then when Drago came out, they did his thing and whatever. They did a couple scenes. They made it longer when he came into the ring. Like, they made it long. They made it a little longer than what they have. They also made the national anthem of the Soviet Union. Like, they pretty much made it more longer. They show more long of Drago's face and doing different things. And then they showed a part where he had the, I guess his picture, when they was doing their national anthem, and they showed that little picture, his little poster or background, whatever they showed it. It took them a long time for that thing to go up, man. It showed a whole big thing, and different part it showed the part that when he took the, I guess he had his little shirt or whatever he had on, whatever, and he just wrapped it around like real fast, like they didn't show that part. But other than all, I mean, the fight scenes. The choreographic, everything was on there, was legit. Sly pretty much delivered. He wanted to make this realistic. He wanted to be like really, really realistic. He didn't want it to be kind of like, here's a punch right here and you don't see it. but he want to make it like with the hits. I mean, it seemed like he was making it like realistic, and that's what he did on this director's cut. He pretty much made it longer. They didn't play a lot of music on the training part because, you know, usually when they did a training and the music, none of that. It was balls to the wall, straight fight. It was almost you hear more commentator than you hear more music. So so he tried to make it more realistic and a little bit longer as this progressed. But I love the way the shots, the hits, you know, and then Duke was pretty much did a lot more talking to that one, and Paulie, you know, he did a little talking to this one. You know, and these guys was just beating the hell out of each other. It's just like they just made it so longer than what it is. And when Rocky pretty much hit him, cut him, you know, and then Drago was just pretty much was saying like, man, this dude is, he's saying he ain't human. You know, he ain't human. What's going on? And the way Drago been hitting them steroids, making him stronger, man, Rocky fighting with pride, you know. He's a veteran, you know, he's been doing this before. So after the fight went through and everything was in, and you know, after the crowd from Soviet Union, now they chanting Rocky's name. You see more Adrian into this, and she's, you know, pretty much chanting it on. Then after it end, you know, he beat Drago, and then it, you know, it pretty much the part that I love. I wish they would have put that in there. Is when, you know, Rocky pretty much saying everybody change, and then what he did, well, everybody can change. When he went back to Drago and he fist butt him, like just kind of like, you know, just kind of like a, you know, good match, dude. And you know, you would think you would see something different from that, and then, you know, and after that, walked out of the ring. That was it. It was over. And but the way I looked at everything, and then after the movie ended, they bumped Eye of the Tiger, and now, you know, even though Eye of the Tiger was in the Rocky IV soundtrack, but they bumped Eye of the Tiger on the end of it, and then after that, the credits going. After that was done, then they bumped Hearts on Fire. My reaction to this movie was great. I mean, they made it realistic. The story is still the same. They just put a little bit more just put a little more pieces together onto it. I really enjoyed it. To me, it was popcorn entertainment. Because like I love Rocky movies, and Rocky 4 was one of my bestest ones that I used to love. Vince DiCola still do the score of that. Just listen to his music is almost like me, you know, want to listen to Transformers the movie, because he did the score of that movie as well. But my ratings of this movie, I will give it, to me, I'll give it a 7. I mean, you know, now the score may be lower than anybody else, but I enjoy the movie. I enjoyed the way he put different scenes that wasn't into it. But the best one, I think, who really put the ice on the cake was the funeral part. They made it more longer. Duke spoke his piece. Rocky spoke his piece. That was the only thing. And then him and Adrian pretty much spoke into that and as well. That was one of my favorite heart filming, you know, motions that I got a little emotion out of that. The way they put that together, and that was great. I just wish they really would have put that in the original one. But the negative part of everything, couple things was out of sync. James Brown was singing out of sync. There's a couple of people that was out there was singing out of sync. I had to kind of see what was going on. The music of certain ones was very low. I had to pretty much was seeing what was going on. I didn't know what was going on with my audio or something was going on with the service. I didn't know. But that's what it was, what happened, you know, because I tried it and I looked at it again, did the same thing. That was a part that pretty much was a downfall. Now, if the movie everything was really good, I would have gave it an 8. But since with that right there, I almost could have gave it a 6. But, you know, like I say, with this, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it average. But I enjoyed it. I love listening to the music, the soundtrack of the music. Like I say, it just brings back memories for me. I used to go out and work out in the gym and just to listen to the soundtrack of it. And like I said, I still got the soundtrack to this day. But if you haven't got it, give it a go. Please give it a go. I mean, like, the movie is good. I mean, he put little its and bits and pieces together, made it a little bit more longer. But like I say, there's certain things in the original, the director's cut, he got rid of certain things. He didn't put like certain things that was in the original, like when Rocky was washing his car, that's gone. When they came to the house, it was just him and Apollo were just talking. Then the robot's gone. Rocky washing his car, that's gone. His son was just telling him, was to tell him, how, I forgot how his son was saying. No, he was asking his son, can you show me how to box? Can you show me how to box? They took that off. They took the part when the waitress was telling, you got a phone call and it's Apollo. They took that off. So pretty much Apollo was already at his house. So that means they were just walking through the steps and, just pretty much was just talking. So there was a lot of things they pretty much cut off. But that's okay. That's okay. We pretty much know how the plot was. The plot we want to see was how the Rocky versus Drago scene works and how that story kind of progressed and everything. So, but yeah, man. Again, I'll give it a 7. It was great entertainment. It was beautiful. The way he did it, but the funeral scene was one of my bestest ones. The training part, they upstand the training part, always going to be the best ones when they put the Vince DiCola score of that one. Then plus you got Hearts on Fire, with Survivor, with their song and playing stuff like that. That was pretty cool. But yeah, man, give it a shot, man. I watched it on Amazon. You have to rent it, so like I say, you can't really get, because I thought it was going to be like a Prime, is your Prime member you can get it, but no, you have to buy it. So I think it's like $2.99, so about $3. So like I say, it's all good. Just give it a shot, man. Leave me some comments and let me know what y'all think about the movie if y'all seen it. What do y'all think about it? Now again, this is spoilers. So if you don't want to watch this movie, you want to watch me talking and ranting about it, don't watch it. But if you have looked at it, give your boy some comments, and I'll definitely get the comment back with y'all, and I'll tell you how I feel about it. Alrighty, this is your boy RP35 signing out of here. Y'all take care, and y'all have a very, very blessed day. Peace.